So recently I stumbled upon a game known as No Rest for the Wicked, and I don't know where this game has been my entire life. This game has elements from all of my favorite types of games. There are Souls-like elements, ARPG elements, and survival and crafting elements. But let's back up for a second so I can read the actual description of the game so you guys have a better idea of what we're working with. No Rest for the Wicked, a unique visceral action RPG set in a handcrafted world featuring soul-like combat where every strike matters and every friend can join the fight. Play solo with up to 4 players in seamless online co-op, face monstrous enemies, build your home, and carve a path through the world torn apart by plague, greed, and glory. Now this video isn't a full-blown review as I haven't completed the game yet, but I do want to talk about some of the things I found to be super cool within the game. So just a heads up, there are boss and area spoilers if that's something you're worried about. Starting off, the art style this game went with is absolutely incredible. Like, this game looks amazing. I have yet to go into a new area and not been like, damn. And there's also points where your camera goes into a cinematic mode and it just looks insane. When it comes to the theme of the game, it lets you know pretty early on that this game isn't My Little Pony. From the intro cutscene to reaching the first boss and making it to the hub, you are constantly reminded of how dark this game is. From the various enemies trying to kill you to the mass amounts of bodies laying everywhere with crows eating them away. Now when it comes to bosses and normal enemy design, I love it to an extent. And what I mean by that is for some reason this game just gives fire to like every normal enemy. And if they don't have fire, the alternative is throwing a bomb at you that if it hits you, it stuns you and ignites you. And this is my biggest complaint about the game. These enemies will make you want to pull your hair out. You will be fighting another dude and then all of a sudden you're getting bomb after bomb after bomb thrown at you. Now obviously the bosses have been by far my favorite thing about this game, as they are absolutely peak, but unfortunately there aren't that many bosses for the main story, but for the 3 that I have fought, they have been absolutely peak. I'll show you guys the first one and my first reaction to it, and then the rest I'll just let play throughout the video. Alright, here we go. This is gonna be it. Our first boss. It's kind of like a spider. Oh my god, this is crazy, bro. No. Parried. No. No. Parried. I missed. Bro, that was so cool. Oh my god. I'm so excited for the other boss fights in this game. Now with the bosses and mobs out of the way, another thing I wanted to talk about was the crafting and town upgrading. So how it works is along your way of exploring and fighting, you will come across trees, ore, dig sites, and ponds and rivers to fish in. And by farming these out, you are then allowed to upgrade the traders in the main town, which unlock new crafting stations near them, as well as increase the inventory of goods for sale. I find this to be a very good way to spend time leveling for the higher zones, and something to take you away from rushing the game. And don't get me wrong, if you do a full playthrough where you take your time, a pretty big majority of your time will be farming for these upgrades. The game does really encourage exploration and farming, as after you defeat the first boss, you're somewhere around the level 5 range, and the next zone you go into is level 8. And you're probably thinking, that's not that big of a gap. But trust me, it is. With the addition of upgrading your vendors, you are also allowed to buy and furnish your own home, which is super cool because there isn't just 1 or 2 houses for sale. You have multiple to choose from, and you can even put the crafting stations that the vendors unlock in your house so you don't have to travel between all the vendors to craft. Now, when it comes to the combat, it feels pretty smooth, but there are some downsides which I will get into at the end of the video. Having the ability to parry in any Souls-like, in my opinion, is fantastic. Having the choice of 2 different defensive moves while having to rely on a certain item is just amazing. There are a magnitude of different weapons that you can use in this game, from sword and shield to big bulky sword. You could use a wand and a staff to shoot fireballs. You could shoot a bow, or in my case, use gauntlets to beat up your opponent. There is a weapon for everyone in this game, and this isn't including the runes, which give your weapons new abilities, or the gems you put in them to infuse them with different damage types like fire, frost, bleed, lightning, etc. Just by looking at some of the items in the game, I can definitely tell that the builds I'm going to be able to make are going to be absolutely insane. I am so incredibly ready for that. From the weapons and the armor, to the rings you wear, to the enchantments you can put on your gear, or even the food you eat to buff yourself, you can definitely lose yourself trying to put together a build or just experimenting with different weapons and combos. I think I have covered most of what I know of this game, so I think it's time to start with a few negatives I have, and the first one can kind of be a skill issue, but it does seem very unfair that some of these bigger mobs in the early areas are harder than any story boss by a mile. I feel like when I fight these enemies, I have to practice them over and over like I would a boss in Dark Souls or Elden Ring.
Make more stuff. Dano's scribe team.
Drop kick! Okay. There's also a mechanic that I am not a fan of, where every wisp or respawn point, other than the ones at the beginning of the zones, cannot be teleported to, unless you offer a bunch of items to each one individually, which is just a stupid mechanic in my opinion. And I'm not that far into the game, so I don't know if this is already a thing, but they should have a separate item that is a little rare that you can give to the wisp, so it unlocks the teleport option for each specific wisp.
Oh, by the way, some of these you have to make an offering to be able to fast travel through them. And it takes a lot of resources.
I see that. My god. Now, as I mentioned earlier in the video, there are some problems I have with the combat, with the number one being using a two-handed sword or axe. Your character swings it at a snail speed. Like, it is genuinely the worst thing to have to deal with. And I'm not sure if this is a stat problem or what, but from level 1 you were given a two-handed axe and it just doesn't feel good to use. And the first special weapon you get is from defeating the first boss, and it just feels terrible to use. Now, I'm not sure if this is how it is for the other two-handed weapons, but for those two categories of weapons, it is just unbelievably slow to swing these weapons. Oh, bro! Overall, most of the negatives I have about this game are pretty small and not really game breaking, but I'm sure in the next 10 hours I play of this game, I could definitely find more positives than negatives. For right now, I think this is enough. I've been having an absolute blast playing this game, and I am so excited to play more. Hopefully in the future I can make more videos on this, whether it be challenge runs, build reviews, or just something. As a huge fan of series like Diablo, Path of Exile, V Rising, and obviously Elden Ring and the Soul series, this game just feels like a mixture of all of them combined, and it is truly amazing. But with all that being said, this is going to be the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you are interested in playing No Rest for the Wicked, as of this video being out, the game is currently on sale. So if you do end up checking it out, let me know what you think. And if you have already played the game, let me know what your experience was like and your thoughts on the game. Anyways, thanks so much again for watching. Peace.